today. Let's say you go to the store to buy a pair of shoes, and when you get there, you see a nice pair of shoes, exactly what you were looking for, just your size, and the price tag on them says $100. And then on the side it says $133 if you're using a credit card, or $150 if you're using a credit card. Or let's say it says $200 if you're using a credit card. Would you buy those shoes with a credit card? I wouldn't. And but I'll tell you what, that's exactly what a lot of people are doing with these credit cards without even realizing it, because they are so sneaky. They have these outrageous interest rates on them. I got a credit card offer in the mail the other day, and in the fine print it says that the interest rate goes from 17.74% up to 25.74%. And if that isn't bad enough, take a look here. I found the statement. Take a look at this. Okay, there's the percentage APR, 7.74 to 25.74. But under penalty APR here, up to 29.99% based on your credit worthiness. This APR may be applied to new transactions on your account if you make a late payment, one late payment, and your rates could go up to almost 30%, or effectively it is 30%. And how long will that apply? It will apply forever, indefinitely, almost 30%. How is that even legal? I don't know. But that's just insane to me, because if you loan your money to a bank by putting money in a savings account, and that's what you're doing, you're loaning your money to the bank by putting your money in a savings account, a money market account, even a checking account. What are they giving you in return? I did a search yesterday. The highest interest rate that I can find for a savings account right now, or a money market account, is 1.85%. So when you loan them your money, they're giving you back peanuts. But if you borrow from them, they're charging you a fortune. It's insane. And it's really, if you're going to use a credit card and make minimum payments on it or carry a balance, that's going to keep you in the poorhouse. And if it isn't doing that, at the very least, you're wasting a lot of money. At the end of 2018, the average credit card in this country, in the U.S., that had a balance on it, had a balance of, on average, $6,506. That's throughout the entire country. If those people who have those balances are making minimum payments, you could take up to 14 years to pay that balance off on a minimum payment, and you end up paying almost double. So that's what I mean about going to a store and seeing these prices right up front and center that say, you know, pay double or 50% or 33% or whatever more if you're using a credit card. They don't say that. Of course they don't, because most people would say no way. They'd figure out a way to get the cash or something to buy something rather than pay those ridiculous prices. But people don't, because they lure you in with these low monthly payments that you can afford, right? The lower the payment, the better, because it sounds great. I mean, it's such a easy way for you to get what you want, and it's really not even very painful. It's just, you know, you can borrow, for example, that $6,500 that the average credit card that carries a balance has on it. If you borrowed that much money on a credit card, and you know, your payments might be it depends on how they figure the minimum payments, but usually they're anywhere from 3 to 5% of the balance, or they could be $20 to $25, depending on the company and how much you owe. But let's say they're going to base it on 3% of the balance. That means you're going to pay them $195 a month on the principal, on what you owe. $195 a month. That's not counting the interest. They're going to put the interest on top of that. And if the interest is 17.74%, which is at the lower end of that range, and you only get that if you have excellent credit, you're going to be paying an extra 30-some percent on top of the $195 every month. And that's going to stretch out for 4 years before you get that paid off. But in some cases they'll charge, they'll make the monthly payment even lower, which sounds good. It hurts you less every month, but the fact is that you're stretching those payments out over a longer period of time, and it will take you years and years to pay that off. And every month they're charging you that interest. It adds up, and it keeps you in the poorhouse, and it ends up increasing your cost of living astronomically. And this is not only credit cards, it's any kind of a loan, car loans and that kind of thing. Then, a lot of times car loans, the interest rate is less. It depends, but pay attention to that. Don't just close your eyes and say, this is great because I'm getting what I want and it's only costing me so much per month. That's exactly what they want you to think. Think about the big picture. Think about how this is hurting you financially over time, because it's outrageous. And the only reason I say this is because I made all these mistakes when I was younger, when I was in my 20s and 30s. I had loans, I had credit card payments, and I thought it was I thought it was fine because $300, $400 a month, it's not that much, right? But I never had any money. My bank account was empty all the time because I never had any extra money to save. So if you're going to use a credit card, the only way to do it, really, is pay off the balance every month. And I do use a credit card every month. I regularly, I charge most of what I buy on a credit card, but it's a rewards card. It gives me 2% back on my balance. Every month, 2% of what I charge gets refunded to me, and at the end of the month, when the payment is due, that whole entire payment is made. It's paid off. At the end of the month, I don't carry a balance, so there's no finance charge. The interest rate might be 20% or whatever. I don't even know what they're charging me because I don't care. I pay it off every month, so there's 20% of zero is zero. So I'm not paying any finance charges, and they're giving me 2% back every month on what I buy. Now, I'm not saying that you should use that as a way to make money, because it's not a good way to make money, because the more you buy, the more you spend, obviously. But if you can't do that, don't use credit cards. They're just hurting you. If you're carrying a balance, just cut them up, stop using them, and pay that balance off as soon as you can, because if they're charging you, let's say 17%, where can you put your money where you're going to get a 17% return on it? I can't think of anywhere, especially somewhere that's not risky. 17% is, if you're getting 17% return these days on something, you've got them in something. You've got your money in something that's very risky, and so if you pay that money off, you're keeping that 17% rather than paying it out. That's what I've got for you today. Get rid of your credit cards unless you've gotten to a position where you can use them without carrying a balance. You have a rewards card that's paying you money to use it, and you're paying nothing to them for finance charges, and the only way to do that is to pay off your balance 100% every month. If you can't do that, don't use them. Just cut them up and pay cash or check or debit card, but do not carry a balance. Okay, good luck, folks.